Your journey is rich with leadership, motherhood, and entrepreneurship. So, what sparked your passion for studying it?
Thank you, Mogeti. Maybe let me just start off by saying I really love changing people's names. That's why I called you Banel instead of Mogeti. Hey?
That's cool.
That's different.
All right, cool. So what it really inspired me to be in this journey or on this journey is the challenges that I went through myself and wanting to develop myself. So just to take you through where I come from. So I come from Mafikeng in a small village called Dibate. And I wished I had a mentor growing up, but I didn't have that mentor. So that means that I then grew up, I didn't have goals for myself. I didn't have something that I was living for purposefully. And then in 2004, I came to Johannesburg to look for greener pastures, like most of us do. I got to Johannesburg and I got more than greener pastures. So I found a job and I found a man as well who became my boyfriend. And then we then have two unplanned kids. Just take note, I'm going to say unplanned because there's a reason why I say unplanned. So we have two unplanned kids because I didn't know where I was going, what I wanted to do with my life. Then found a job, I was working, and I was like, when you are not happy with yourself, you tend to bring that negativity around people that are within your circle. So when I'm at work, I'm just that employee that just want to complain about everything and anything. So that was how I was living my life. And when you look at me outside where I was, you would think that, but she's got a man, she's got beautiful kids, she's got a job. What is the challenge? The challenge was within me. And then 2016, I then decided that I am going to embark on a self-development journey. Then I joined Toastmasters. I learned public speaking. I learned how to stand in front of the audience, and that gave me so much confidence. Very same year, after just developing my confidence, I then started my first business, which is a cleaning company. 2017, I then started the second business, which is now the Future Leaders Academy. The reason I started the cleaning company is because when I got pregnant in 2007, I wished that there could be someone who can just come clean my house without me having to do the vetting, me having to go look for them, but I struggled to find that person. So the cleaning company started in 2016, but I fell pregnant in 2007. So from 2007 to 2016, I didn't have the confidence to start the business. So when I developed my confidence, that's when I started the cleaning services. And then in 2017, I think I took my daughter to Toastmasters, and she did what we call the table topics. This is speaking impromptu. And then that's when now I thought, you know what, I wish kids can be able to do this without having to only do it at school, but because I know what public speaking can do for me, then let me rather than start something for the young people. Then that's when the idea sparked, saying I'm going to start the Future Leaders Academy because I wanted a mentor and I didn't have a mentor. So therefore, I am now the mentor that I never had. So I'm hoping that I really summarized my story so that I give you guys an idea.
Quite, and it sounds very, very interesting. An interesting journey as well, and it does stick with me how you said that. The pregnancy was unplanned, and I think maybe that's also something that just in specifically the Black society, it needs to be explored more. But we'll get to that a bit later on. But with being a mother, right, and juggling businesses back and forth and being employed yourself, specifically with starting Future Leaders Academy, what gap did you see it was necessary to be filled and it propagated you starting the Future Leaders Academy?
So when I was working, I would want to say something at work, but I didn't know how to say it. I would want to share my ideas, but not knowing how to do it. So that then made me not to be able to speak when I'm at work. That made me not to say anything because I didn't have the confidence in saying what I wanted to say. And then I wanted to start a business, but I didn't know what steps do I need to do in order for me to start the business because I don't have the confidence. So I realized that if you don't have confidence, the chances of you climbing the ladder are very slim. Doing your dreams or doing things that you really love are very slim. So confidence makes us for opportunities to to do the things that we really want to do. So sometimes you're sitting in the office and you're hearing people sharing these things and you're thinking, my idea could actually work better than what they're saying. But because you don't know how to articulate yourself, you don't know how to say it, you don't say it, therefore you lose the opportunities to share your ideas. Yeah. So this is where the lack is, where I'm thinking that most of us Black people, if we have confidence, the chances of us being successful are very high.
Yeah. Very interesting. Things that you are mentioning right there, because today younger people are facing lack of confidence, because they'll always tell you, whenever you walk in a room, speak confidence, walk confidence,
Definitely.
Show confidence. Yeah. So in terms of you now being a mother, because being a mother requires a lot of things. As someone who spent a lot of time on what we call psychological TikTok, we have people who go on a certain page, they complain about the struggles of being a mother. Like, guys, sometimes being a mother is tiring. It's tiring, right? So for you, how has being a mother, influenced the way you approach youth leadership development?
Sure. Okay. I wish I could say there are challenges, but in all honesty, in my motherhood, I don't have any challenges. I think my kids are the most, what would I say? So my daughter is 18, she's in matric, and my son is 14, he's doing grade 9. They are both teenagers, and I don't have any challenges with them. I think we try to have conversations, and we can talk about whatever that we want to talk about. I know in most cases as parents, there are these conversations that we don't want to have, the dating conversations, the boys, the girls conversations. So I am trying to be as open as I possibly can with my kids. Don't get me wrong. It is not easy to have such conversations, but I try. Oh, I love that picture. But I try my best to have I try my best to have conversations with my kids, and I'm not saying I am a perfect mom. I do have my flaws, but I try to have open conversations with them. And I said to them that when they want to start drinking, I would love for them to drink in the house with me, and I'm gonna buy them alcohol so that I can see how they behave when they are out there. And they're like, nah, we're not gonna do that. Not because they don't like alcohol, because when I used to drink alcohol, I used to just be all over the place, and they're like, we don't want to be like that. So those are the kind of conversations that we have with them, openness, and it makes it easy for me to parent.
Very interesting. I love the approach. I mean, look, man, I'm not. It is quite. I'm not a parent myself just as yet. But now I'm trying to bring it back to home and the experiences that I've witnessed. More in seeing how my brother and his wife parent their boys. They have 3 children together. The youngest is a girl, but she's still too young. She's like 3 years this year. But the 2 boys, one is 16 and one is 14. And so I'm trying to put together what you're saying and what I've witnessed. And I'm even just in general in society, I've started witnessing and seeing that the new age parent of today is quite different in their approach of parenting and passing on teachings and having these uncomfortable conversations. So I love that, Gadifele, and I think maybe a few more parents could learn quite a few things from having that approach. And because I'm sure more you would agree that now our parents, Gadifele, I'm sure you would agree, our parents did not want to talk about such things. These uncomfortable conversations, the dating, the body development, the societal things that you are going to experience and come across as a young boy, young girl. And it was taboo to talk about such things. Hey, why and all of those things. But talk to me. I mean, leadership is quite an important aspect in almost every other space that we are involved in. And like you said, public speaking is not an easy thing. I know with myself. I mean, from high school, when we have to do, especially unprepared speeches, it's quite a challenge, and we laugh at each other as girls and boys in the classroom. But you later realize as you grow up, these are skills that you actually need. Kausani, you're going to be called, Gadifele, please come and speak at a funeral. Please come and speak at your friend's graduation celebration or your friend's birthday party.
Public setting.
Or a public setting somewhere in some form, shape, or manner, right? So, why do you think it is so important to start teaching leadership skills and, of course, public speaking skills from an early age, especially from an age of maybe 9, 10, 11 years? Why do you think it's so important to try and impart those teachings to young boys and girls?
Yeah, like you say, young people don't know that they will need those skills. So it's important to say when you have these skills in your back pocket, as you grow up, you are exposed to all these different things. You go to work, you are at church, you're exposed to different environments. When you are there, when you stand up and you speak, that's when you grab people's attention because they're like, she's so young or he's so young. How did he then get to learn all these skills? Not knowing that this is the skill that you have learned at a very young age. So it's important because you don't know what you're going to be exposed to as you grow up, and you're setting up yourself for success as you learn all these soft skills. Like I said, I'm a Toastmaster member, and in Toastmasters, obviously there's us grown-ups, adults, and you see when we get there, we're like so terrified to give our icebreaker. It's nerve-wracking. And then when I come with the future leaders to Toastmasters to say, come do maybe whatever role that there is there, they do it so easily. So you can see that even when they get to work, they'll be able to articulate themselves. When they get to varsities, it will be easy for them to own the stage, own the room, and just be themselves and not succumb to peer pressure. Because again, if you don't have confidence, it's easy for one to succumb to peer pressure.
Yeah, very interesting. And some of the things that when we look into the manner of approach, building confidence, especially in adults nowadays, because for us, when you are an adult and you are struggling with speaking, like, hey man, Vooka ndota man, just do it, man. What's happening with you? It also comes back to now saying the approach. How do you now handle the manner of approach to say, okay, now I'm going to speak with someone who is lacking confidence, and I'm about to talk to them about the skills that they need, right? And talking about that, a lot of adults, they struggle about with confidence. So how do you approach building that in children as early as 10 years old?
So I start from 13 to 25. Okay. So what we do is when the program is 12 weeks, right? When they come, we start off with teaching them how to deliver, like we call it an icebreaker. You just tell us who you are, where you're coming from, where you want to go to, or what you want to be when you grow up. And the following week, we will then teach them how to do an informative speech. This is a researched topic. They will research whatever that, for example, if they want to work, let's say in a radio station, they would go research on what do you need to be a radio presenter, and then they can come then deliver a speech on that. So when they're doing that, we teach them how to give feedback, because we believe that feedback is breakfast of champions. We teach them how to give feedback. So when they're sitting there, they will be listening to what the speaker is saying. So there are 3 important things that they listen to when they give feedback. You listen to what is it that you love about the speech, about what is being said, the content, what can be improved as on the speech, and what is the challenge for the next speeches. This is like a very important element of learning how to lead, because you can imagine as yourself more that you are at work and your boss wants to give you feedback on the things that you're doing. And when you get to the office, excuse me, when you get to the office, your boss says, Mo, when you're on the radio, you do this. They only mention the bad things and they never mention the good things. That will discourage you. So now with these young future leaders, as they're growing up and they know how to give feedback, when they get to the managerial position, they will be able to give an encouraging feedback to their employees. And that will just make the company to be an environment where the people want to be in. So it's very important to learn how to give that feedback and just not to kill someone's spirit when you are trying to help them grow. Yeah, so that's the most important part of leadership, to say, don't just feedback, just learn to just make it nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feedback is the breakfast of champions.
I love that. I love that, Gadifele. I love that. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to start using it myself, man. Very, very interesting stuff. Yeah.
For sure. Khadi, what role do you have and what role do you believe public speaking plays helping young people find their voice, especially in a world where youth, obviously youth is often silenced in this now era we live in. Yeah. So what do you think public speaking does for the youth actually?
So there's a research that was done and people were asked if between public speaking and death, what would they choose? And most people chose death instead of public speaking. So people would rather die than to do public speaking, right? So it's a very, what I would say, maybe rare skill that if you have it, you stand out. And I know that each and every one of us have a story. I'm a village girl, and the challenges that I have gone through, wanting to have a mentor, having no goals, having to look for someone to help me in the house, has made me to be where I am. So this is my story, authentically so. So each and every person has an inspiring story that they can use to uplift themselves and to uplift others. So I always usually say to my future leaders to say that, you know what, if you're going through a challenge, you need to embrace that challenge because that challenge is going to be something that you can make money out of it. And I say, your test is your testimony and the mess that you go through is your message. So embrace it, be able to speak confidently about the challenges that you go through. So don't let people to say, you are young, don't do that, don't say that. As young as you are, start where you are. Hence, I also teach the future leaders how to start the businesses. So I have a future leader that is teaching now the other future leaders to, not only future leaders in the program, but kids as in general. She teaches them how to do coding. So this is her business. As young as she is, she's only 13 years old. This is her business and she's not too young. You can start wherever you are. So young people, you have a voice, you have ideas, you've got business ideas. Let us bring them to life.
Your test is your testimony.
Yeah, man.
And those challenges that you face on your daily, basis, they help you to become the person that you want to be, and also the leadership that you want to portray to the people out there. So now let's, dive deep into the program in terms of what it offers and how does it help people out there. So how does the program balance leadership training with emotional intelligence, knowing that emotional intelligence is something that, one person needs to work on a daily, to improve the skills of dealing with people in general and social responsibility?
Yeah, so the program, I loved it when you guys spoke about when you grow up and then you spoke about the parties and the graduation. So one of the things that we teach, one of the speeches that we teach in the future leaders is that we teach how to prepare for a special occasion speech, which would be like your graduation, your weddings, toasts for parties, for whatever special occasion. So we would prepare the young leaders to be able to deliver those kind of speeches on the spot. I remember when I went to my friend's wedding in 2007, I think, or 2008, I had to give a speech as a best friend because I was the maid of honor, and gosh, I messed it up. And I see how much most adults, when they get these opportunities, they also mess up this kind of speaking. But now as a future leader, even if you don't practice it year in, year out, when you get that opportunity to present such, you will be able to remember that this is how it's done. So it is important for us to prepare them for whatever scenario that they will face in life. So it's not only the special occasion speeches. Like I said, there's an icebreaker, there is informative, and then I don't know if you guys know about death by PowerPoint. Oh gosh, I've seen people putting words on PowerPoint and it's not supposed to be done like that. It's PowerPoint. So you only have to put your powerful point, not your Word document. So I teach future leaders how to use PowerPoint so that they engage with the audience and not bore the audience to death. You know, so those are the things that we prepare them for. And once you know, so you know what is confidence? Confidence is being able to plan, prepare, and then you can deliver. So we teach them how to plan. Then they prepare. Before they come onto the stage, they obviously have to prepare for that speech. Now, when they come to deliver, they are prepared. Now, that gives them confidence. Once you do things just in J without planning and organizing your stuff, you're not going to be confident because you don't know what you're going to do.
Interesting, interesting. Very, very interesting.
Very Gadifele. You know, you're raising such provoking points, actually. Nice, thought-provoking and mind-shifting or mindset shifting points, man. And I love how you speak about, and this is, you know, you referencing us, that we find that as we grow in society, we actually need these soft skills more. You know, I think maybe for us it could be easy, but I think there are maybe a few broadcasters out there, specifically radio broadcasters, because that's what we do, right?
Yeah, visual radio.
I mean, visual radio, sure, but it's broadcasting nonetheless. And maybe someone out there could think, Musi, Limweke, Stephen can easily speak in public. But you find that we are comfortable when we are behind the mic.
Yeah.
And when you get to a public setting,
then it's different.
You're not in your comfort zone, and it's quite challenging. And then people go, like what you said, Mo, people are like, but Musi, you're on radio every day.
Do it,
Why
man.
can't you do it, Chief? You know?
Yeah.
And I've also seen, Gadifele, like you mentioned, that it's not easy for adults when you have to speak at a funeral, in church, at a friend's wedding, or graduation party, like I mentioned. And it's like, how can't you talk about your friend? And it's like, yes, the person is my friend. Granted, I give you that. But just because we've been friends for such a long time means not that I can easily talk about them, you know? And so I love how she just said confidence.
Confidence.
She said.
You plan.
Yes.
Oh.
So confidence, you need to plan, you need
prepare,
to prepare,
and
then you can deliver.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. So with that being said, I mean, there's also generational gaps, right? And because I'm someone who pays quite a lot of attention just in general in life when we're going about, and when we're in public settings and Rekobo Mangmang or Reko Kerekeng or whatever, there's generational gaps, and you see in how we articulate ourselves, you see it in how we present ourselves.
Yes.
Right. The one example I can think of is that 10 plus minus years ago, when we were in high school, to such an extent that even if you guys are smoking or you have friends that are smoking, when your friend has the cigarette in their hand and then there's an adult, you would quickly hide it, you know. And it's not that Miss Mangmang or Ntatas Mangmang would not have noticed it, but I think there's just a respect aspect that comes in just recognizing and acknowledging. You will hide it, let them pass, and then, you know, so there's those generational gaps. Banaba, they call it Gen Z, Gen Alpha, Gen whatever, you know, Gen X, Gen ing. So with that being said, with today's generation, get out of demographic. With today's generation, do you find that, or have you found that they are more eager to learn, or they are hesitant, especially with reference to what you said, that more people, the study showed that people would rather die than stand in front of a crowd, you know? It is completely. So do you find that with today's generation, they are more eager to be in leadership positions, or they would rather say, and what is the difference that you've noticed with the different generations that you've worked with over the years?
So what I am noticing is that our future leaders, the young people, they are eagerly confident in kind of like, I would say it like a wrong way, because everything is just on the fingers. They can press the phone and then they get information. So they then tend to think that they know it all. So when I was speaking to some HR specialist, she said to me that the challenge that they're facing with the young people is that they don't know how to put their ideas across. They just think because I know it, they must take it and they must listen to it. So I don't think that they necessarily are eager to learn because they think that they know it all. I don't blame them anyhow. I think us as adults, it is our responsibilities to help and shape their path, to shape their journey. It is absolutely not their fault. And when I spoke at Trevor Noah's foundation, and after my talk, we opened for Q&A, and the future leaders there, you could hear that, you know what, they have so much questions. They just need platforms to use to ask their questions. So, and I say to us as adults to say, can we open our ears? Can we be the mentors to these young people? Because if we shut them off, we are setting ourselves for failure. The future is going to be dark. So we need to listen, we need to guide, and we need to mentor them. That's all we need to do in order for us to move forward and make sure that we prepare a bright future.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love it
Powerful.
I
also.
love that. And I'm seeing, man, you've also, I mean, with what you just said, Khori, you've spoken on platforms like Trevor Noah's Foundation. I see that not so long ago, you were also on the morning show on ETV. So it also speaks to the amount of work that you've been putting in and, you know, the level of work ethic that you have and the impact that Future Leader Academy has. So, I mean, you guys have been in progress, for lack of a better word, or you at its inception, you've been around for quite some time, for a couple of years now, and you know, I'm sure there's still a lot more that Ole Gadifele you want to achieve and you want to see happening with regards to future leaders. So with that being said, what do you think the long-term goal or vision is for Future Leaders Academy? And just the program holistically in its entirety. What is the long-term vision, 5 years, 6, 10 years from now?
So thank you so much for that, actually. So when I started in 2017, I didn't have the curriculum. I was like all over the place trying to figure out how I could run this program. And then only in 2023, that's when I then made it now more professional, started having the curriculum that you're seeing there on the screen that is now 12 weeks curriculum. So every time we are evolving, the long plan, the long-term goal is that I want future leaders to be a McDonald's of education. Right? I want it to be a franchise where we get the future leaders that are in the program to be able to now take the program to their different provinces. I want the future leaders to be in Northwest, in Northern Cape, like every single province in South Africa must have the future leaders. And I don't want it to be done by me, but I want it to be done by my future leaders because I know they've got potential. And this is me now also creating employment because if a future leader can be a servant leader and teach other future leaders, it means that they're creating their own employment because I mean, future leaders is a business. I charge the parents to bring their kids to me. So the kids that would be buying the franchise would also charge their clients so that they teach them. So I see it as a franchise of some sort in the long run.
Yeah, I see that.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
I love
see.
it. I love it. So in closing, I mean, you mentioned that the HR specialist that you were in conversation with mentioned some of the challenges that they find, especially when interacting and engaging with the young people now, you know, 2000 as they are referred to in society.
Yeah.
So just quickly in closing, before we let you go, what are some of the challenges that you have come across or some of the biggest ones that you've faced in running the program, and how have you overcome them essentially? I mean, from 2017 to now, or only in 2023, that's when you found a nice working program that you developed, or a nice, you mentioned it's you said curriculum, yes. You know, and it was after a while, after a couple of years. So there are some challenges I'm sure that you've faced, and you're still facing some now to this day. So what are some of the biggest ones, and how have you overcome them, Ole Gadifele?
The challenges would always be there, but like I said earlier on, I embrace them because they make me grow from that. Because it says if it doesn't challenge you, it will not change you. So every time I go through a challenge, I'm like, yes, I'm glad that I am through this, but I will overcome it. But I think one of the biggest challenges that I faced is, I'm gonna try say it in a very nice and polite way.
Okay.
Is that is that having to have someone or people that I can work with closely and they understand the vision. So that has been the challenge for me to say, finding someone that can understand the vision. And now how I have overcame it is that I am now having to make sure that whoever that I bring on board, they understand before I can say jump onto it. So I don't bring anyone on board before they understand what needs to be done. And this is not something that I figured out myself. It's because I cannot live without a mentor myself. I cannot live without a coach myself. I have a coach, I have a mentor. And then she said, you know what? In your board, you need to have an advisory board. And these are the people that you need to have on board. So now I know that whoever that I bring on board would be someone that aligns with the vision. So that's how I am overcoming or I overcame the challenges that I had. Yes, I'm still going to face challenges, but we'll figure things out as we go. Okay, so Love Lives Here is a story that I wrote because I've been with my husband now, it's 21 years, and people always ask me, how do you keep a man? I'm like, if you want to know how to keep a man or how to be in a relationship, all the secrets are in the book. So my book is you can find it at Take a Lot, as well as I have the hard copies. Unfortunately, I don't have it anywhere in the stores. So it's only hard copies from me as well as Take a Lot.
I see.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Such an interesting conversation and
Yes.
story and journey that you've lived, Gadifele. And,
for sure.
you know, Future Leaders Academy sounds like it's a great program for young boys and girls, you know, to be a part of. And it sounds like it's encouraging for parents to put or, you know, take their children there to be a part of it and learn as much as they can. You know, we take, like I said at the beginning, we take these soft skills for granted more. And we think, "Oh, man, public speaking, what am I going to do with unprepared speech in my life?" But, you know, in more than most cases I've seen it's not a nice setting to make an example of, but mostly with things that concern the family and funerals in more than most cases. Mesebetsi, kunomsebenzi, kunomcimbi endlini, you know, or ejaridini, and uthole malume asakhona go bua, and it's like, how malume young. And that's, I always say that I don't constitute being an adult with great attributes. You know, just because umutona means not that you have the necessary skills to navigate, you know, different aspects of life, you know. And I think the generation now, or this young generation can develop can gain quite a lot from Future Leaders Academy program and, you know, all of that. So in closing, if you could speak to every young person in South Africa, Gadifele, what would be the one thing that you would want to say to them about the power of choosing to lead rather than being hesitant and stepping back and saying, I get someone else? If you could say one thing or share something with the young generation, what would that be?
I'm going to try summarize it. Don't succumb to peer pressure. Live your best life ever, because whether you are living your life, whether you are not living your life, you are not going to change where you're going to end up. So I love talking about death, and I always say to people, young or old, you're going to die anyway. Rather do things that will make you happy, that when you look back, you are proud of the life that you have lived. So live your life, not for other people, but for yourself, that when you go back, you say, God, you know what? I am coming to you empty. The talents and everything that you have given me, I have utilized them, and I have left the world a better place than I found it.
I like it. I
Love
like
that.
it. Basically, be in the
Oh.
present.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Occupying space as much as you
Yeah,
can.
you know what a master class in a purpose and a parenting, Miss Gadifele. Thank you for reminding us that leadership doesn't start in boardrooms; it starts at home, in classrooms, and in conversation that build confidence. And thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate taking your time to be here with us.
Yeah, most
and
definitely.
Look,
Thank
man,
you.
it's very, very interesting conversations and perspectives that you raise, Gadifele. One thing that stood out for me from our conversation is that feedback is breakfast for
Yeah.
champions. I love it's
that is a
powerful.
powerful
I
quote.
love that so much. And with that being
Hey.
said, we appreciate so much Os Gadifele, and hopefully sometime in the future you can actually physically come in studio so that we can have a more in-depth and delve deeper into some of these conversations and maybe talk about a bit more about Love Lives Here, and your inspiration behind it, and what are some of the things that you felt were necessary to put in the book, with regards to your long-term marriage and relationship with your husband, and the beautiful relationship that you guys have built that has, come to bear two wonderful children, like you mentioned. So thank you so much, and we appreciate it, and we do hope that you will enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I really, really appreciate your time. Have a blessed day and blessed week.
Wonderful.
Wonderful,
Thank you so
wonderful
much, man.
stuff. An entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and confidence coach. Perhaps you were wondering who we're in conversation with.
Yep.
There was Gadifele Moeng, a devoted mother of 2 children. And of course, professionally, she is a serial entrepreneur, a inspirational speaker, and a published author who in 2016 founded the Khadmo Cleaning Services, followed by the establishment of the Future Leaders Academy in 2017.